Hey guys, welcome back to another review on the channel. Today I'll be reviewing Hassel in the Castle, which is the third episode, or second, depending where you come from, of course, of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? So yeah, let's get straight into the review. So the episode opens up as we see this mysterious castle, quite a spooky looking castle too, I might add, and then we cut to this phantom who is on this balcony with a telescope and he's looking out at sea and he spots the gang on this cruise, like this, I don't know, like this ship, Fred's steering it and he's just steered them into a cloud of fog and they can't really see anything. And Shaggy is below deck. He's making a giant sandwich. Scooby snatches it from him and even eats the olive. And then they, because they can't see, Fred accidentally runs them aground on this island. Fred calls it a haunted isle. So they run aground on Haunted Isle. They go walking around exploring the island. And then Scooby finds a crab with a note. And he eventually gets rid of the crab and then picks up the note and gives it to Fred. And the note is of the map of the island. But on the other side, the rest of the gang haven't seen this, but Scooby's seen it. It says, "Danger, leave Haunted Isle." When he turns the paper around and shows it to Fred, he obviously thinks that there's obviously someone else on the island that doesn't want them here. So they go walking off in the direction of the castle, and then we see the phantom behind a rock, stalking them. Sorry, and yeah, when the gang get to the door of the castle, they go inside and they find a portrait of Vasquez Castle owner. It's Vasquez Castle, that's what it's called. And yeah, the pirate Vasquez Castle basically was there as like a really ruthless pirate. Anyway, they go to the next room and we see the phantom following them again. And yeah, then Daphne accidentally falls down this trapdoor when Velma was talking about trapdoors, and then they hear this mysterious laugh and Velma thinks it's just the wind. They run to the next room just to make sure to get away. Now they're walking through another room in the castle, and then it cuts to Daphne. Daphne fell down that trapdoor and the little wooden slide led to this, I don't know, like this basement of like the castle. Anyway, she decides to go one way and then a hand reaches out for her. Anyway, Fred and Velma, they're a little bit ahead of Shaggy and Scooby, and they walk past the skeleton. They don't really take much notice of it, but Shaggy and Scooby stop and they do. They ask where did they go, and the skeleton tells them where they went, and they go running off because they're really, really scared. Then Shaggy starts talking about his imagination to make him a sandwich, and then all of a sudden a ham sandwich drops with like some mustard and some lettuce and stuff. And then when the I'm not sure really what it was like this little statue comes down with an axe and cuts the sandwich in half, and then they go taking off, but of course Shaggy can't leave his sandwich. And then we cut to Daphne, and she hears some footsteps. She picks up a pot vase and smashes it on Shaggy's head, and Shaggy then falls to the ground, and then the rest of the gang find them, and then the phantom appears, and Shaggy and Scooby obviously still think it's just the wind, but it's not the wind. Then the phantom then says, "Leave Haunted Isle. This is your last warning, and yeah, you will pay if you stay," basically. And then Fred and Shaggy and Scooby go running after the phantom, but then he just stopped, and they all went through the Phantom, and then he walked through the wall, which was really, really creepy, and I think he's actually a real Phantom. And then Daphne and Velma find this really, really weird key in this drawer, and it says second passage of the old bell. Then they go to the library because Daphne said she saw a library earlier. When they go there, they find a book that has I don't know, like this secret passage of the old bell book, and in it the word catacombs is underlined on the second page. So then they go down to the catacombs. They use the key they found and open the door, and then inside it's like really, really creepy. And then Scooby starts like putting on a sick act and pretends he's sick. Basically he has to go check it out for him. But then he has to I don't know, he comes to this hat and pulls out a bunny, and I don't know, thinks he's doing like some magic trick, but when he leaves to put it down, the Phantom's head appears out of the top hat, and then he says it's all clear, and the rest of the gang come in to the next room, and there's a whole bunch of magic equipment in there, and Velma says the mystery's starting to make sense now that they found all that magic equipment. Then they spot the Phantom, and they run away, and then they bolt through the door, and Shaggy runs into, I don't know, like this mirror box, and then Velma spots Shaggy inside this, I don't know, it's like this trick puzzle box, and it's actually just a dummy of Shaggy, and Shaggy appears on the other half of the box. He must have come out there because he ran inside that door. Then the Phantom, then we see the Phantom chasing after Daphne, Fred, and Scooby. Daphne and Fred find a magic carpet, and they get on it. Then Scooby's a little bit behind, so he grabs onto the carpet with his teeth, and they start flying, and then they crash. And Scooby runs into this door, and he wants to be let back in, but then Daphne and Fred see him and get really, really scared. And then Scooby sees the Phantom inside the room with him, and he breaks the door down. Then we see the rest of the gang. They're really, really puffed out because they've been running around the whole castle. And then Fred spots all this cool equipment he can use for a trap. All Scooby has to do, is lead the Phantom into the room. And gives him some Scooby snacks. He pretends to be sick again, of course, but that doesn't fool the gang, and he dresses up as John Wayne and starts looking for the Phantom, and starts, I don't know, acting really, really silly to get the Phantom's attention. He looks around a few things. He looks behind a picture, I believe, and the Phantom was there, but then he opens the picture again, and the Phantom wasn't there, just a brick wall. And then the Phantom appears, and Scooby and Phantom have a bit of a showdown. Scooby starts mocking the Phantom, and then the Phantom starts chasing after him. They run back to the trap. Scooby accidentally trips and triggers the trap, and, well, then the trap kind of goes haywire from there, and he falls onto the magic carpet, which sets off the trap, and the trap keeps on setting off, but the chandelier that was supposed to trap the Phantom doesn't work and misses the Phantom. And then Scooby gets stuck on top. He got stuck in the bucket, which was holding the chandelier, and then he falls out of the bucket and onto the Phantom, trapping him. Then when they unmask the Phantom, of course, it turns out to be Bluestone the Great. Didn't know who that was, but yeah, apparently Bluestone the Great is like a wanted criminal, and he's a very, very highly rated magician. And he was hanging around Haunted Isle looking for the treasure and scaring people away so he could find it. And he used all his magic tricks to do it. The treasure apparently of Vasquez Castle. Anyway, he then shows the gang how he did his trick about walking through walls. He was also able to levitate with wires, and he used a hologram of himself so it appeared that he was walking through walls.
Now you'll not escape me!
And so when the fog lifted, we spotted your beached boat and decided to investigate. But who is that?
This is the end of the mystery.
Well, if it isn't our old friend Bluestone the Great, an ex-magician that's wanted in 6 states.
But what is he doing on Haunted Isle?
He must have heard the legend of the Vasquez treasure. Everybody's after it.
I get it. Then he used all the scary magic tricks to keep people away from the island while he searched for it.
And when he saw us run aground, he wrote a threatening message trying to scare us away.
Well, his scaring days are over. The Great Bluestone is going to do a final disappearing act, courtesy of the local jail.
There's one more thing. We figured out all those floating tricks. Watch.
Look! No hands!
See? Wires!
But how did you walk right through a solid wall?
One of my best acts. Let me give one last performance. Hold this rope. It was merely an illusion done with trick mirrors and a special projector. I could cast my image anywhere I wanted. And by stepping away from the mirror, it appears that I walk through walls.
I must admit, Mr. Bluestone, you're a good magician, but a bad phantom.
Man, I wonder if, there really is a treasure.
Hey, that's Scooby Bark. Come on. Look, Scooby found something.
Maybe it's the treasure.
And then Scooby starts barking and digging at the front of the castle. They think he's found the treasure, but all he's found is a chipmunk or something. I don't know what it is really. And then basically pushes Scooby back out. And that's the end of the episode. So I give this episode a good 9 out of 10. It's one of the better ones, of course, from Scooby-Doo. There are some great episodes in this show, but a 9 out of 10 to 8.5 to 9 out of 10. Maybe an 8.5 suits a bit better. Reason why it's not a 10 though is probably because the mystery could have been a little bit more entertaining. It was quite spooky at times too. The Phantom, of course, it's not anything special, but very, very memorable, that's for sure. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed the setting of Vasquez Castle. And the mystery was alright. It wasn't amazing. That's probably why this episode isn't a 10 out of 10 and only an 8.5 out of 10. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the review. Stay tuned for some more reviews coming out next week on Scooby-Doo Are You?
What do you know? A ham sandwich. Wouldn't you know it needs some mustard? This has got to be my imagination, otherwise I'd be scared stiff. Now, maybe my imagination can, cut it in half?